everybody. This is the Community Consolidated School District 46 Board of Education meeting held at Frederick School for Wednesday, April 21st, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. First we have is a call to order and a roll call.
Weedman,
Here.
Mack,
Here.
Braden,
Here.
LaCroix,
Here.
Miller,
Here.
Nash,
Here.
Strack.
Here.
Okay, good. That gives us a quorum for tonight. Next is the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next I need a motion to approve the agenda with also, we have that personnel agenda addendum item that was sent out earlier today too.
So moved.
Second.
Miller,
Aye.
Strack,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Weedman,
Aye?
Braden,
Aye.
LaCroix, and Nash.
Aye.
Okay, next would be for public comments. Do we have anybody signed up for public comments?
None at this time.
Okay,
I don't think there were any.
nope, okay. Next would be board reports. Anybody have anything to share?
I've got a quick legislative update. I sent the board some information about advocating for educational funding in fiscal 22 with the state legislators. I emailed Sam Yingling. He's responded to me, and I also emailed Melinda Bush. But I would encourage you all to act as individuals as well, basically saying, look, we need to fully fund education for all the reasons that I won't preach to the choir about here. But if you could take a look at that EdRed toolkit, it gives you some great language to be in communication with our legislators about that. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, so I wanted to share that Stephen and I have been asked to write a case study for the National COVID-19 Outdoor Learning Initiative. And so we're working on that right now, and Stephen and I have been talking about it already, just trying to get some history in outdoor learning, and then a whole bunch of other people too. So just wanted to let you all know. I'll send you a draft of it, but it's very much a working draft right now. And then I also I was going through the minutes and just wanted to reiterate thanks to Paul and your team for all of the work on summer school. Just as I was reading through the minutes, it really struck me how much work that is. So thank you very much.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, we are up to the superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I'm hearing myself echo. First, I'd like to apologize to you all for not being able to be with you in person. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Going all right? All right. As I shared with the board, I had to leave town for a family funeral, but really hate that I can't be there with you on site, particularly because tonight we'll be seating our new board and saying goodbye to a board member who served us so many years. So wish I could be with you, but I'm really glad for the technology that allows me to be with you this way. I'm going to begin, of course, with a little bit of an update about the beginning of our 5 days of on-site learning program. We are, I would like to say, 8 days in, and they have been 8 wonderful days. I was very lucky to be able to get to all of the schools on the very first day, and many of our administrators were able to get to many of our schools as well. So many happy children marching proudly down the hallway, many of them, the younger ones, clearly wearing brand new masks bought for the first day of school. And I mentioned the first day of school because I have to admit that for many of the adults, that's how we were thinking about it. We were thinking about, oh, this is the first day of school on April 12th. But of course, that's not at all the way it was, as evidenced by the fact that as I was walking through classrooms, I want to say maybe 20 minutes after the first bell rang, and saw kids in the upper grades hard at work at algebra, walking through first grade classrooms later in the day, seeing everybody very focused on time. And so this is just wonderful evidence that our teachers have worked so hard, excuse me, to be able to make things wonderful and smooth for our students, both those who are at home and those who are sitting in classrooms. Um, we know that it is an enormous lift for them, the amount of work that they're doing, but you can't tell when you walk into a classroom. You cannot tell, and it's because of all of the time that they are putting into it. And that brings me to our offices, because I have a second story to share. On that very same first day, as I walked through classes, it looked smooth as silk. When I walked into offices, totally common offices. But when I would ask our administrative professionals how it was going, a number of them said, well, there's been a lot going on. It's been really crazy. They kind of spoke as though there was a lot of tumult. You couldn't see any tumult in those offices. They had it ticking right along. And that's because of all of the work that they had already done behind the scenes, which is a segue into the fact that today's Administrative Professionals Day. We are very grateful to all of the people that work in our offices and our district office for everything that they do behind the scenes to make everything work. I know you all know we could not do what we are doing without them. So thank you to our administrative professionals. I agree. I'd like to mention that plans for 8th grade graduation are well underway, and 8th grade parents and guardians have received at least one communication from the schools about that. We are very glad to be having our 8th grade graduations outside at Grays Lake North in the stadium. And we're grateful to the high school district for working with us on that. Now, I want to mention that it was difficult to find a date because at the high school, they are needing to, their athletic season is extending very long. And so they don't really know every night whether or not they'll have an event. So for that reason, our 8th grade graduation is actually after the school year ends on Sunday, June 6th, with a rain date the following Sunday. Of course, we all hope we don't have to use that rain date. There'll be a lot more information to come. But I also wanted to mention it now because board will see later in our meeting that we'll be asking to approve an agreement between District 46 and District 127. That is something that we can fall back on that allows us to have this partnership and use their grounds. So thank you ahead of time for considering that, that action item. And then finally, as you know, registration has begun, it's open. We do encourage our families to register their students for school for next year. As I stated in last week's communication that I sent out, we do know that families are eager to know what the plans will be next year. What I can tell you right now is it's 5 days on site, kind of what we have going on right now, but plus, right? So everything we're learning from our current spring experiences all made them much better over the summer. So we're eager to have that information for all of you. We are looking into a remote option, which would likely be for students and families that really need it, likely for medical reasons, but more information on that to come. We will have full-day kindergarten. We'll be returning to the kinds of early childhood pre-K programming that we had past years. So we're very glad for all of that and more information on that to come. And that's the end of the superintendent report.
Good, thank you. Next are committee reports. The first committee we have on the list is Community Engagement Committee. Do we have anything?
Yeah, just real quick, and as a review for anyone who might be listening for the first time, the Community Engagement Committee's purpose is to connect people to one another and to local resources. So the current initiative that we're starting is the seed and food sharing. We're actually 1 year, full year now, around the Learning Lab. So we are offering seeds in the Little Seed Library, which is at GMS, and these are seeds that were grown and harvested from plants at Woodview and Prairie View. So that's exciting for us. And also wanted to thank the very many volunteers who showed up at Woodview last weekend to spread mulch around all the garden, the beds. There's too many to name, but really appreciate our community for that. And that's it. Unless you want to add something, Stephen.
I was just going to echo the thanks to all the volunteers as we move into our summer months again, so thank you.
Okay, next is the Equity and Inclusion Committee.
Okay, so the Equity Committee met on Monday. We had a packed meeting, and we first got an update on the strategic plan because the draft strategic plan, because there were so many equity tie-ins that we really wanted the committee to hear them and, just comment on where they saw equity tie-ins. I mean, I think the really good news is there was equity issues threaded throughout. It didn't feel like one separate part of the plan. So, within financials, within the values, within the mission itself, equity is threaded in. So we wanted to give the committee that view. And then we had a guest from the board of our Grays Lake PFLAG organization join us for a few minutes. PFLAG is Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. So it's a support for the LGBTQ community for those who love them as family and friends. We have a great Grays Lake chapter, and so one of the board members came to share that Grays Lake is having their first Pride Parade on June 20th. It's going to be a car parade, so if you know about the Buffalo Grove Pride Parade, it's going to be very similar to what Buffalo Grove did last year. So it'll be, COVID safe. And so we just talked about, what they had planned and if there was a possibility for individual volunteers to help out with that parade, as well as potentially involvement of the equity committee itself. So one of the things I was potentially thinking about as a board is, potentially a resolution, sort of recognizing Pride Month in June. So that's something that, we might bring up to the board for discussion in the future as part of it. So that was exciting, and the group had a lot of energy around, especially showing our students who are part of that community that they are loved and supported. And then we just planned for the last meeting of the year and talked about the structure for next year. So continuing to just make sure that the meetings work for the majority of members and how we wanted to move forward in the fall. We have our last meeting in May, so we'll give you an update then. And that's it. Unless, Paul, do you have anything you would like to add to that?
That was perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, next I need approval for the consent agenda, including the addendum for personnel report.
So moved.
Second.
Braden,
Aye.
Nash,
Aye.
LaCroy,
Aye.
Strack,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Weedman.
Aye. Just moving right along. Okay, the next is action items. And the first action item is a motion to approve the pre-K tuition and transportation.
So moved.
Second?
Need any fill-in for that? Nope, okay.
Weedman,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Nash,
Aye.
Braden,
Aye.
LaCroy,
Aye.
Strack.
Aye.
Okay, next is a motion to approve a resolution for full-day kindergarten for next year, 2021, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? No? Okay.
LaCroy,
Aye.
Braden,
Aye.
Strack,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Weedman,
Aye.
and Nash.
Aye.
All right, third item is a motion to approve the 2021-2022 insurance renewal rate for employee benefits.
So moved.
Second?
And the only change to this was the updated wellness programs, right?
Yeah, the additional enhancements, and just a reminder, we may really want to think about coming up with some monitoring criteria because we shouldn't expect to see cost reductions in the first 18 months even. It's really 3 years that we can expect to see them. And that would, just something to think about.
Okay.
Strack,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Braden,
Aye.
LaCroy,
Aye.
Nash,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
and Weedman.
Aye. Next is a resolution authorizing the intervention in proceedings before the State Property Tax Appeals Board. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay.
Mack,
Aye.
Braden,
Aye.
Strack,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
LaCroy,
Aye.
Weedman,
Aye.
and Nash.
Aye.
Okay, next is a motion to approve Chris Wildman, Assistant Superintendent of Finance, as the school treasurer as well.
So moved?
Second.
And this is just an annual thing that has to be done to set up who's the treasurer for the district.
Mack,
Aye.
Braden,
Aye.
Strack,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
LaCroy,
Aye.
Weedman,
Aye.
and Nash.
Aye.
Okay, the next is a motion to approve the licensing agreement for use of District 127 properties for District 46 events. As Dr. Glickman had talked about, this is for graduation.
So moved.
Second.
My only question on the resolution is, it says in the resolution for, they take that back. Now that I read it closer, it has both addresses in it. I just saw 400 North Lake at first, so, my correction. So, I'm good.
Okay. Mack,
Aye.
Braden,
Aye.
Strack,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
LaCroy,
Aye.
Weedman,
Aye.
and Nash.
Aye.
All right, next is the recognition of board members leaving office. I guess I'll go real quick. Stephen is leaving us after 8 years on the board. 6 of those years, he served as our board president. Stephen and I and Jill Alfred and Rob Roop came on the board together 8 years ago with the intent to try and make these board meetings boring again. And I think we did a good job. I hope that we, as a board, has accomplished those things under what you believe. And I hope you feel that you're leaving it in good hands.
I do.
So I want to thank you for your time on the board and your time as president. As I've learned the last 2 years, it's a lot more time than you think.
Well, thank you, Jim. I want to thank the community for the opportunity to serve on the board, both as president and as a board member. And thank Jim for keeping me afloat while I was president for those years, and for his continued dedication and leadership since he's taken over as president. I want to thank Dr. Glickman and Paul Lewis for their leadership and their commitments to the students and staff of the district as they continue the work that we've all been involved with. Thank my board colleagues, past and present, for your perseverance and your hard work and the difficult decisions that we've had to make over the years and in the past and to come as well. Good luck with the future and making those decisions. And lastly, I want to thank my wife and my family for their support these past 8 years and the work that I've been doing. As Jim mentioned, I am definitely leaving the district in good hands. What we have here is a group of people who can be trusted to put the students first and have that in mind with every decision that they make. So I know I leave the district in good hands, and I wish you all good luck for the next 4 years at least. So thank you. Thank you.
Anybody else would like to say anything?
Stephen, I just want to thank you too. I remember reading your op-ed, I think early on when you took office, and I learned a lot just about district finance and recognized that it was something that I thought was really important for our community to have that kind of outreach and that kind of explanation. And I loved that you wove the fine arts into it. I think one of the examples you used was a timpani drum. So thank you for all of your service. Thank you also for inviting and making sure that there were people that came on the board after you. I appreciated the invitation to run. So thank you very much for all your service.
Thank you.
And thank you to your lovely wife, because I know she also is supporting you at home and is engaged in her own activities supporting our community too. So your whole family, thank you very much.
I'd like to add a few words if I could, Stephen. The first time I heard your name was in Rob Roop's kitchen on a snowy night in December of 2012 when he was telling me that he and 3 other like-minded, service-minded people wanted to lend their services to kind of try to make, like you said, Jim, school board meetings boring again. For those who don't know, school board meetings prior to that were typified by police presence because they were kind of rancorous and discordant that way. So people without that kind of background don't really understand how far we've come in getting the board to where it is now. And I think you played a large part in that, and I want to thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Stephen, I'd like to add the first time that I got a chance to sit down and talk with you was when we had coffee at Starbucks in Libertyville after I was joined the board after Rob Roop left. And I can remember, not verbatim, but the question you asked me was, why I want to join the board. And I said, well, I enjoy serving on volunteer boards. And you said to me, you turned to me and said, well, I don't think this is like any other volunteer board that you will serve on. And I think you probably were more than correct over that cup of coffee. And I appreciate, the guidance, the tips and the tools that you gave me, the support through all the different decisions and difficulties and successes that we've had. I've appreciated getting to know you and your family and just share this journey with you, and thank you for all of that. It's very appreciated, and I'll never forget it.
Thank you.
So I wanted to say, Stephen, that we knew each other before we served on the board together, but I just still remember sitting at my desk the day after some terrible, terrible guidance came down from the previous Department of Education, and sort of firing off a memo to the Stevens about what we could do in our district to protect our students from what was happening. And, that was sort of the beginning of you pulling me in, so to speak. And I appreciate the responsiveness that you had at that time and your leadership when I joined the board and mentorship when I joined the board and your service and your steadiness through some really difficult decisions. So really appreciate it. Appreciate everything your family does for this community. I know that you're a service-minded family and just proud to know you all.
Thank you. It's very nice. Thank you.
Stephen, while I don't have the benefit of as much history as some of our other board colleagues, I will say over the past 2 years, you have just been a staunch advocate with putting the children at the center of everything that we do. And even when we go down, or conversations kind of take us down different foxholes, if you will, you've always been really good at leveling out the board and bringing us back and keeping us focused on what's the task at hand, what's the mission at hand, and how best to accomplish that. You bring comprehensive thought leadership to all of your decisions, and the experience that you've had, what I've been able to glean from you over the last couple of years have just been, nothing short of professionalism and just excellence and commitment to what you do, not only as a professional, but for the students and community of District 46. So thank you for what I've been able to glean over the last 2 years, and I wish you and your family the best in the future, and hopefully this is just a pause in time, and we'll see you back in the near future.
Thank you. Thank you all for your kind words. I appreciate it.
May I add a few words as
You
well?
may.
Thank you. Well, Mr. Strack, everyone seems to be talking about their first interactions with you, so I'd like to add in mine. As you know, you were the board president at the time that I was hired, so I have a strong memory of the phone call in January of 2019 when you asked me to come and serve as a superintendent in the school district. Thank you so much for your support in making that decision and in the offer. And you may remember that following that, I met with all of our board members to learn about you and to learn about your interests in our school district. So, of course, I keep everything because it's in Google Drive and you can just go look at it. So I did, and I wanted to share that there were some things that you talked about that were really important to you that I think should be made public. You talked about diversity and equity and how important those topics were to you. And here we are, just a little over 2 years later, 2.5 years later, with, continuing to march down the road of making sure that everything we do in our school district is viewed through the lens of equity. And as you know, we're doing an equity audit next year, which will strengthen us even more. And as a participant in our strategic planning process, you know how important equity was to that process. Strategic planning is also something you spoke with me about, and how important you felt it was that we go through that process and have new goals for our district. And as you know, just last week, we finished that process, and the strategic plan will come before the board in May. And then also, we spoke about actually food insecurity and the importance of feeding our community. And of course, who knew back then what would happen in our country 2 years later? But as you know, we have been able to provide food for this community for the past year, free of charge to all children 18 and under. So that too has come true. And in fact, good news, we have just learned that the federal government is allowing for that free opportunity for all children 18 and under for the entire 21-22 school year. So that's just a really nice announcement and something nice for you to know as you go on. Thank you so much for all you have done for our community. You and your family have really been powerhouses in making a huge difference in this community. So thank you for all that you've done. I have a strong feeling that you're not even close to being finished with that, even though you are moving off of the board. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I believe Paul has a small token of our appreciation for you.
So I don't have the microphone, so I'll talk very loudly. On behalf of the school district and the school board, we have a small token gift for you to thank you for all of your hard work, your commitment, and your passion for District 46. It shows in everything that you do. So we hope that little gift will be something that you'll be able to keep forever.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
Okay, So how this goes is, the board is having no further business. I need a motion to adjourn sine die. Did I say that right, Paul? Just for you. I had to practice all week on that.
So moved.
Second.
Nash,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Strack,
Aye.
Braden,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Weedman,
Aye.
and LaCroy.
If that motion didn't pass, could Stephen leave?
There's a door right behind
Too
you.
late.
Aye, aye.
All right, so we will go into a short recess for some refreshments and to say our goodbyes to our friend Stephen. And when we come back, we'll do the oath of office for new board members.
And just for the folks that might be watching online, about how long will this recess be? So that
Probably
they
15
get
minutes
in.
or so.
Sounds good.
We'll call it 15, how's that?
15 minutes, perfect. All right, thanks.
All right, we are back from our short recess. Next on the agenda is the oath of office for new board members. So if we can have everybody come up by the podium in front for us to be sworn in by Dr. Glickman over the air. See how this works out.
I can see all of this movement on my screen.
Can we get Dr. Glickman up here? Then we can face her. Is she swearing us in?
All right. And everyone has the oath in front of them, is that right?
Yep.
Yes, you all have it. Okay. And you can hear me all right?
Yep.
Okay, don't you love modern technology? So I'm going to read a section for you, and then you'll all repeat that section, and then we'll go on to the next one. Are you ready? Yes? All right. I, fill in your name, do solemnly, oh, I'm going to read the whole piece right
Gotcha.
now. I'm going to read a paragraph.
Keep going.
I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the oath of member of the Board of Education of Community Consolidated School District 46 in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Illinois, and the laws of the State of Illinois to the best of my ability.
I, Jim Weedman, do solemnly swear that I faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member and Board of Education of Community Consolidated School District 46 in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitutions of Illinois, and the laws of Illinois, to the best of my ability.
I further swear that I shall respect taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's assets.
I further swear that I shall respect taxpayers' interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's assets.
I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members and others who seek a hearing before the board while respecting the privacy of students and employees.
I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by fellow board members and others who seek a hearing before the board while respecting the privacy of students and employees.
I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual and that decisions can be made only by a majority vote at a public board meeting.
I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual and that decisions can be made only by a majority vote at the public board meeting.
And I shall abide by majority decisions of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels.
I shall abide by majority decisions of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels.
Thank you very much, everyone. You are officially sworn in.
Okay, next we need a motion to appoint a president pro tem. Doesn't matter. Anybody. You can do me if you want.
I move to appoint Jim Weedman, the president pro tem.
I second.
Braden,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Nash,
Aye.
Weedman,
Aye.
and LaCroy.
Aye.
Okay, next we need a new call to order and roll call.
Braden,
Here.
Miller,
Here.
Anderson,
Here.
Mack,
Here.
Nash,
Here.
Weedman,
Here?
and LaCroy.
Here.
Okay, next, we need nominations for president.
I'd like to earn their nomination for Jim Weedman to continue as president of the board for a 2-year term.
Second.
Any other nominations on the floor? Okay,
Okay. Braden,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Nash,
Aye.
Weedman,
aye.
and LaCroy.
Aye.
Okay, next we need to make a nomination for vice president. I would like to nominate Dr. Stephen Mack to continue on for vice president.
Second.
Any other nominations from the floor? Okay,
Braden,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Nash,
Aye.
Weedman,
aye.
and LaCroy.
Aye.
And next we need a nomination for secretary, and I would like to nominate Christy Braden to continue on.
Second.
Any other nominations from the floor? Okay,
Braden,
Aye.
Miller,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye.
Nash,
Aye.
Weedman,
aye.
and LaCroy.
Aye.
Okay, next item on the agenda is unfinished business. Dr. Glickman, did you have anything, any lists? Nope? Okay. I just see her shaking her head. So, new business would be to, is the 2021-22 Board of Education meeting calendar. This is put together for us to review for any conflicts that we may have or any issues we may have, and then we can approve it at the next meeting.
Yes, and I just wanted to add in that as you look at it, you will see that there are a continuation of 2 monthly meetings, except for the months of July, August, December, January, and April. And the April month, one meeting that month has to do with when spring break falls.
Okay, thank you. So if you have any comments on the calendar, please get them to Dr. Glickman and her staff so that we can see if we have to make any changes to it for next time. Thank you. Next is topics for future agenda items.
Yeah, we have a few, just as you just described. Mr. Weedman will be bringing the 21-22 Board of Education calendar to an action item. We will be bringing an RFP for nighttime cleaning. So sending that out to bid. And finally, we'll be bringing a vote for our strategic plan. So we'll bring that to you in draft form with a presentation. At this time, I do not know if that will be the first board meeting in May or the second. I'm going to be putting together a small team of people who are part of creating this draft. So it depends on some things to do with schedules and such, whether we bring it to you in the first or second May meeting. And that's all I have for upcoming agenda items.
Okay, any board members have anything they'd like to see coming up?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Weedman. I'd like to get an update from Dr. Glickman regarding her professional development courses that she's taken, just to see if there's any insights or any real-time learnings that perhaps could be shared with the board for us to implement sooner versus later.
Did you hear that,
Is it
Dr. Glickman?
Yeah. So is that the will of the board, the collective board, for me to speak about that at an upcoming meeting? You'd like a report? Okay.
Yep.
I may, if you're comfortable, I may just do that through the next superintendent's report, as I've had one session with this high school group, I believe it was last weekend, I think, and so I can talk a little bit about what we did at that weekend professional development. How does that sound?
That sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, great. Sure.
Any other items from the board?
Yes. I would like us to consider a resolution per EdRed's recommendation around school funding. There's some great language that was provided by them, so I'd like that to, come up for discussion so that we can put that stake in the ground. And Jim and Stephen, if you need that, I can re-forward it to you, but there's some really nice potential wording that we could use, advocating for prioritization of education funding in the state budget.
Okay. Do you want to bring resolution for June as well? In front of the board for supporting Pride Week month?
Yeah, if we want to do that at the same time, that's fine. Yeah.
At least if we get those together in May, then we can have it before June hits.
Thank you.
Okay. We are up to public comments. We have nobody in attendance here. Do we have anybody online? No, I'm getting the notification that we have nobody online for comments tonight. So next is I need a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Weedman,
Aye?
Braden,
Aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
LaCroy,
Aye.
Nash,
Aye.
Mack,
Aye?
and Miller.
Aye.
Okay. Meeting is adjourned. Or we're going into closed session. We don't anticipate any action coming out of closed session.